Whaler guys here at Hartford Public Access on Sargent Street in Hartford, our world headquarters. Tonight, with Peter Hindle from theexaminer.com, we have a show that is like no other. We're talking about a stuffed animal, a mascot, 6.5 feet tall.
Yep.
And most of you know him as Pucky. And what did we do with Pucky?
It was Pucky, that 6.5 foot whale. It's been a mascot. The Whalers' mascot, Pucky, has been since really like 1974 or 3, I think.
Yep.
But the costume is a bit newer. So we got Pucky to come with us to the Connecticut Childrens Medical Center, and we got to see a lot of kids. And Pucky put some smiles, gave out some hugs, gave out some nice autographed pictures. It was a great thing to do, and we did that for the whole purpose of to remind people that it's not just hockey. We do more than hockey. Hockey can branch out into other parts of the community. Here it is. We have a Hartford Whaler mascot is visiting sick children, giving them a little bit of a smile and something to laugh about and enjoy. What did you think when we were walking through the hospital? What kind of grabbed your mind?
Well, 2 things came to mind. Like we've discussed in the past, we do more than hockey. That has always been our mantra that, yes, we want our Whalers back. We're wearing the gear tonight because you know what? We are one nation under green, so tonight we're representing. Really what it came to was we were going there to show kids Pucky, put some smiles on their faces, but it was also about bringing back something to the community like Karen Weeks did with the Yukon Children's Cancer Fund. Unfortunately, she lost her battle with cancer only 2 weeks ago. Again, we pass our condolences and sympathies on to the Weeks family, Steve and his family. And this was kind of piggybacking on what the Whalers used to do with the community, specifically the charities here in Hartford. And then came I'm a father, and you never want to see a kid sick. And we walked in there, we were able to see smiles on kids' faces who really needed a lift. And we took a couple hours off from work, and for us, it's no big deal. If I go to the dentist and I have to go to the doctor, you get kind of irritated that you have to take 2 hours off to go to the dentist or the doctor. 2 hours off to see kids smile, seeing Pucky. It was no big deal for us, and it was. You saw the kids carting around their IV trees with them, and it's not supposed to be like that. Yeah, older people, they get sick. Young kids are not supposed to. It shouldn't happen.
No, and we're talking young. I mean, we saw kids of all ages, and Pucky visited everybody. But one of my biggest fears, and it probably was yours too, was, gosh, this big 6.5 foot whale, are kids going to be terrified of him? And really, that was not the case. They warmed up to him right away. Now, we fully admit these kids didn't know who the Hartford Whalers were, but believe me, by the end of the visit, they knew damn well who Pucky was. They wanted to follow him. We kind of laughed. We watched Pucky was like the Pied Piper. As he walked through the rooms, he had a trail of little kids following him to see who he was going to visit next. It was just it was a neat thing to do. It cost us a couple hours off of our job, but we were able to do that. It's something that that hockey can bring to the community in different aspects. There's a lot of crossover, and we had a great time with the staff at the Children's Connecticut Medical Center. They remembered the Whalers. Some of the people said, "Well, my husband, he's a huge fan," or "My wife's, can I have a signed autograph?" And remember, we ran into the security guard who was just, "Holy cow, Pucky's here, the Hartford Whalers! I used to go there all the time." So, and he wanted a picture with Pucky. So, it was great to do that. We thanked the Baldwins for letting us borrow Pucky. Batter Up Capital was influential in getting this whole thing done. Brendan Lynch, who runs Batter Up Capital on 750 Main Street. He got the hospital involved. He let them know we're coming. He got Pucky. Pucky got a nice bath. He was nice and sparkly clean when he went to go see these kids because it's such it had to be a germ-free environment. So he really did a lot of good work to make that happen. And you can see that on our social media pages if you want to see some of the pictures of the kids and some of the smiles that we saw.
It was great. It was a lot of fun, and you walked away with knowing you did something good for people who really probably needed a lift. And,
right.
There was one patient there who was probably college age, and he remembers the Whalers, he remembers the whale, and he really was a ham in front of the camera with Pucky. So it was great, and it was good to see everyone embrace the community outreach. It wasn't for us, we want to make people happy, and it really worked out well. And yes, Brenda did a great job setting the whole event up. And so we're going to do more out in the community when we can. Like I said to Pete earlier, it's not like, we can just drop our jobs and do this, even though we'd like to do this.
Oh, sure.
Because it's something we're very passionate about. And, to see, like you said, the woman that we first met, she was like, oh, my husband loves Pucky. Oh, he has a whaler room or memorabilia. And I was like, oh, he's like one of us, but everyone thinks we're crazy doing this. We might be, but you know what? We're the leader of the crazies.
Yeah.
So, when you look at what we can do next, we always look to the future. If you guys have ideas, if you think there's something you would like us to try to do, email us. My email is jewhaler13@gmail.com. Peter's is phindle19@gmail.com. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know any criticisms you have or what you think we should do, where we have to focus our efforts. We do have the ear of some very important people within the state and local officials, like we talked about 2 weeks ago with Gary Bettman was in town.
Right.
We heard that from multiple sources, so it wasn't just a fly-by-night rumor. We heard it from multiple people that Gary Bettman was here meeting with the governor.
Yeah.
When you start to hear it more than once and you can confirm with a couple people that it would probably happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're not saying we saw anything with our own eyes, but I've been saying this for a little while. The media in Hartford isn't really, they're not focused on where is Hartford with the NHL and how's that going. So we pick it up and we carry that torch. So when we hear a couple things and they seem to match up in line, the whole point is that this big Excel Center plan makes Hartford one of the only places in the East Coast where the NHL can relocate a team. Now, it's not the sexy pick like that Vegas or Seattle is, but it's definitely a market, and the NHL knows it's a viable market after that Excel
And
Center
really,
plan.
like we talked about earlier, we're doing a license plate. We're doing the season ticket petitions. You guys have to sign them. You have to pass them out. Let people sign them. Share it. Do what you have to do. Send emails. We don't care, but we don't want to look like schmucks here. That we're trying our best, and the NHL knows that this is happening. We know for a fact that they're either monitoring our Facebook page or our Twitter feed.
So they saw WFSB with John Holt.
All this is we know that they're watching.
Yeah.
So this is the time to make this happen, and this is the legislative session where they're going to push that arena plan through the legislature. And as we've heard from some Wolfpack fans that went to a town hall meeting, Spectra, who now is operating under that name instead of Global, was a little distant with them, saying they're not going to do too many things to the XL Center this year because they're anticipating this getting through the legislature. So this is a big deal. Things are starting to fall in line. Hopefully they slide the license plate deal through the legislature with the arena deal. If it's going to be a no-brainer that they're going to pass through our license plate thing, and then you kill two birds with one stone. And on that respect, we've heard from some legislators who are willing to help us with the license plate push through the legislature. Representative Matt Ritter, who covers the Hartford area, Kurt Vail, like we've mentioned before, from the Stafford Springs Summers area, and Paul Doyle from the Weathersfield area. So now we have 3 legislators who are starting to listen to us. We hope to get some feedback from them on what we have to do to help them out to get this license plate thing pushed through.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing that, one of the things we were concerned about is, okay, we'll do this license plate petition. Probably have no problem getting the 400 signatures. We did that. We passed that.
We have 600.
Yeah, we have over 600. And like I said, you can continue to sign up for that. It only makes it look better.
Yeah.
But, was the legislature going to be responsive to us? And sure enough, we had 1, then we had 2, then we have 3. And when you got, that much attention on just the license plates, imagine what the attention will be on if there should be some kind of NHL plan, or even a team, sell a team to the investment group. How interested does the legislature sound on that? That means that the XL Center plan probably is on their minds too, and they realize that the XL Center, it's either you do nothing and then nothing's going to happen. You might as well have a parking lot there, or you do something and now you get a bustling downtown to go with the Yukon, the new apartments downtown. You have a lot of new businesses, real estate prices are. I mean, the stuff that's selling down in the Hartford Market right now is really on an upswing. So everything seems to be lining up well. So we hope that continues down the road. But
maybe it's a little bit of luck we need.
Yeah. There's a little bit of luck in all this. Like we said, we said for a long time, if Malloy didn't win the last election, we probably wouldn't be doing the show right now, because Foley was very anti-XL Center, so putting any money into the XL Center. So step by step, some of these things
they're starting to fall into place.
And
a lot of it has to do with you guys. We're steering the boat, but you guys are the ones. Or the best part is, like I said earlier, we're the radio. You guys are the volume. We can put the radio out there. You guys have to spit it out there to all your friends and everyone else. And for all the naysayers, like we say on our podcast, shut your blowhole. We don't need you. We need positive people to push this forward. And when you look at, I think one of the humorous emails from one of the legislators was, yeah, the Red Sox plate got approved because they're the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And now you want me to do a Whalers plate, but there's no Whalers, so we can't go through the team to get this approved.
Right.
We might actually have to go through the NHL. Now, if a state legislator or representative has to go through the NHL, that means the NHL is going to know what's going on. Again, the more we keep knocking on the NHL's door, maybe they're not answering, but they know we're there.
Oh, yeah.
We send out our tweets to them at NHL. Pester the hell out of them. Just keep on sending them things. I don't care what it is. Put a picture of Ron Francis on there. Send it to them.
Yeah.
You know what? Everyone knows the logo. We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
This is the best, one of the top selling apparel in the league without a team.
Yeah.
So just keep on pushing the button, because you know what? The squeaky wheel does get the grease.
That's right. I mean, just the fact that how well the logo sells and everything, it's almost like the NHL, it's like a dub moment. Like, hey, if we had a team there,
right?
I mean, how much would the merchandise sell then?
Right.
So, the NHL has done well with that. It's just it's a confluence of circumstances that are bringing, Hartford back up to the forefront. It could easily, we could be sitting here and, in a year or two and maybe nothing happens.
Right.
But the point is they're poised for the possible. To catch one of these teams, whether it be Florida, whether it be Phoenix, whether it be Carolina, maybe some other team. But there definitely will be some. There's going to be expansion, and we think that there's going to be some relocations, and that's where Hartford is got its best chance to jump in and catch that.
Yep.
So
there was a tweet today from this guy Doyle, who's a Boston Globe reporter, and he says Carolina to Quebec is a better fit than Hartford to Carolina, and that went wild all over Twitter. Our Boston colleagues up there are not against the Whalers coming back. The New York people are not against Hartford coming back. It just throws another team on the East Coast, and as we've seen through ratings and money, the East Coast is where the money's at. And the NHL cannot turn a blind eye to the East Coast. I don't think we're overloaded. If they want to say we're overloaded, good, then take Florida out of Florida and bring them up to Hartford. It's quite simple. Bring Carolina out of Carolina and bring them up to Hartford. We're still on the East Coast. You're not replacing or adding another team. You're bringing another one up. Just make it happen. A quick thing about our apparel, like we're wearing, we want to shout out to Peter Good, who created this wonderful logo. It was his birthday last week. Happy birthday, Peter, and we wish you all the best in the many years to come. And we might have him on again to talk about this wonderful logo he created.
We can't thank him enough, because it's my belief that if this logo wasn't as popular as it was, our job would be way harder. Much harder. I can tell you, we do all these social media stuff. If I put the Whaler logo on one of our podcasts or something, the amount of views are incredible. I mean, you could put a Whaler logo on a garbage can and everyone's going to look at it. It's just
they want the garbage can.
Yeah, it's just that kind of. Well, they sell them, Yeah. So that's what I'm telling you. I mean, it sells itself. It's made it easy for us. It's almost like we're following.
We're marketing
the logo.
a team.
Yeah.
We don't have a team yet.
No,
we're not there.
No, we're not. But
So back to the other thing about the XL Center and how unfortunately. It looked like Spectra took kind of a back seat, and Chris Lawrence was quoted as saying that he believes Hartford can support an NHL club with the right ownership, with the right investment group.
Sure.
So for him to make that statement, it seems like things are starting to move forward with the public relations of pushing an NHL market.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Spectra is pretty much a customer of the state of Connecticut. They kind of take a little bit of direction from the CRDA on where things are going with the arena. So to hear Chris Lawrence come out and say, yeah, you know, I think the NHL could support, or, you know, the NHL could be supported here with the right ownership, with the right, you know, but that's true with any city. And we've heard Michael Freeman say, you know what? I disagree. They were supported back then.
Yes.
You know, you can make those days. Well, I went to the Civic Center where there's only 6,000 people. Well, yeah, that's true. But you know what? You have to remember there were strike years. There were years when the team averaged 28 wins. I mean, you put that in any market. You tell me how many people are selling out the building to watch a team that you know, you have owners that are just putting a team out there on the ice just to make enough to cut.
Well, that's just like I said earlier. You know, UConn had a horrible football season last year. Their attendance dropped.
Yeah.
We have very fickle fans in this area. And you know what? If your team's not producing, I don't blame you. But you know what? If I'm putting down a large chunk of cash for a season ticket, I've bought in. I'm committed to go see this team. And then you have the naysayers that we've talked about, and they're like, well, there's more opposing fans in the stands. Well, you know what? Put a good product in the ice and shut up. Because you know what? Your fans will come out if you put a good product on the ice and put them up in the top of the standings instead of the bottom. Take it from a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
You know, they still go to the games. They're a committed bunch. There's only 37,000 seats,
Yeah.
and people still go to the games.
Oh yeah. And that's another thing. Like the Red Sox are not having a good year this year in 2015. So it's easy to get tickets.
Sure.
So that happens in any market.
But they're
It
still
happens-
selling
yeah.
out.
Yeah. But they, you know, but it's much easier to get tickets
Yes.
in 2011. You know, when they were going to
Oh,
the
yeah.
World Series. And
Sure.
everything. So you know, when your team is underperforming, you're gonna have some attendance issues. It's just the nature of the beast. Unless you're in some crazy place like, you know, New York, where they go no matter what, 2 cups in 75 years, and they're still going.
Yep.
So you know, like the Chicago Cubs, you know, they go to those games, but that team hasn't won one since 1908.
Yep.
That's the exception.
It is.
It really is. You know, Columbus, if they put a lousy team on the ice, they're not going to sell out.
Nope.
You know, so
They went in the playoffs last year,
Right,
and look,
right.
everyone went to their games.
Yes.
And that's good. We want clubs like that
Yes,
who do
to
have
succeed.
a good future.
Right.
And you know, this year's there's so many different things happening with the league and the trades and everything. Dallas looks like it's going to be a powerhouse. You know, the Bruins, there's some rebuilding that's going to take place.
No, that's all right.
Oh,
I'm
shut
happy
up.
with that. I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. I'm very happy with that. So
That's right.
yeah.
Well,
what
you,
are you
follow,
gonna do?
you don't follow anything.
I can't follow anyone. I've never done it. I don't know, you Whaler fans out there. There's some that go to the Bruins. You know, I don't.
I
know
enjoy,
anyone. There's
I
a
enjoy,
couple- Yeah.
but I enjoy NHL hockey.
That's it. No, I'll watch
Listen,
it too. But
I despise Carolina.
Yeah.
But if I was driving through Carolina and there was a game,
Sure.
I'd probably go see the
and root
facility.
for whoever's playing.
You're absolutely right. Yes.
No, there's some Whaler fans that are Ranger fans. There's some Whaler fans. There's some Whaler fans that stayed with Carolina. You know, that's another thing. That's another thing that fractures the Whaler market is the fact that, you know, everyone has those secondary teams now.
Yeah.
I couldn't really do it. I kind of would like a little bit more of the Flyers, but that's just because the Whalers were technically born out of the Flyers. You know, Howard Baldwin got his first job. He was director of sales with the Philadelphia Flyers. So, and then Mark Howe and so on. So,
But I don't blame the fans.
Yeah.
You know, and I've said this before.
Yeah.
The fans can root for whoever they want now.
Right.
That's not my opinion. Is I happen to follow Boston teams versus New York teams. But the thing is, you know, when you're looking at who you're going to root for, I hope you all enjoy hockey because
Yeah.
NHL hockey is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I do blame the state and the local officials for not getting their heads out of their keisters and getting a hockey team here sooner rather than later.
Right.
That's who I blame. And you know, like I've said in the past, the fans got screwed, and it's a bunch of BS that these guys have not got their stuff together
Yeah.
to get a team back here.
Yeah, and there are Whaler fans out there that say, how can you become a Bruin fan after being a Whaler fan? Some are saying, how can you be a Ranger fan after being a Whaler fan?
I like hockey.
Yeah, everybody does what they want to do. So you know, that's just the nature of the beast. But you know, interesting about the AHL in Hartford. This is the final year for the Hartford Wolfpack under it's a 3-year contract. This is the 3rd year. They do have 2 one-year options, which means that they can exercise them. The MSG has the right to say, yeah, let's, you know, one more time this year. But if they raise the price, if their affiliation fee is $1.4 million, we're paying for that. The state pays for that affiliation fee. That's why the XL Center is so expensive to run, because, you know, here we haven't put a game on and we got to pay the $1.4 million. But if that $1.4 million should rise, then that changes the game a little bit. The state can say, well, we don't want AHL or we don't want the Rangers at that price. You know, this and that. But we'll see how that goes. We're still a long way from that. That's April.
We have heard that if that price goes up, the state might not be willing to pay it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they're very happy with what UConn hockey did last year. Like I said earlier, I hope the luster of the UConn hockey season last year does not fall off this year. I hope.
I don't think it will.
And we have 4 more games over last year.
Right.
If in fact they still average 6,000 people a game, that's going to be quite significant. You know, so you know we have to hope that UConn keeps that push going. They do a lot of marketing. We have to hope that UConn finally joins in a partnership with the XL Center, because once that deal is signed, that's a great tenant.
Right.
Now that's in stone.
Yeah.
You know, and UConn's not going away anytime
No affiliation fee there, so
no.
That's the great thing about it.
And a lot more hometown pride.
Right. And to show you about the market, you know, people say, well, no one goes to the AHL games. So you had 11 UConn games that drew in almost 50% of what the Wolfpack pulls in, with 28 extra dates. So think about that. The Wolfpack has 28 more dates. And here UConn with 11 dates almost pulls in half of what they do. So that shows you that people are kind of hungry for something maybe a little different, something maybe a little homegrown, a little hometown. You know, so that was that was an incredible thing, and the state really bought into it, because boy, did they quickly get a poster out there that said, "Hey, we lead the league in Hockey East attendance." If that were to happen again 2 years in a row, that's got to interest
and
the investment group. It's got to interest the NHL. It's got to interest a lot of things. So.
And you have to really give credit to Michael Freemuth and CRDA, as well as Spectra and Chris Lawrence, because as Michael Freemuth gave us the tour of the XL Center after the remodel, all those luge seating that they put in were totally sold out by corporate support. They were sold out not just for hockey games; they were sold out for every event at the XL Center.
Right.
That's a huge thing for the state of Connecticut right now. But say we get an NHL team in here, that shows the corporate support for them. So the state and Spectra, for setting the foundation now for corporate support, is only going to enhance if we were able to get a Major League Hockey team in here, and that would move towards that sponsorship and helping them out, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the sponsorships jump on with UConn. There was Aetna, Travelers, Morgan Stanley, United Healthcare. Those are all big companies, and some of them, United Healthcare, for instance, is a Fortune 500. Hartford has more Fortune 500 companies than just about most of the cities in the league. I think it's about 5 we have, and I think we have 15 statewide. Investors recognize that. The NHL is well aware of that.
The NHL is in Stamford.
Yeah.
NBC Sports Network is in Stamford.
Yeah.
I mean, we have so much in this state that we have enough sponsorship. Yeah. And really, when you start to look at the future of Hartford, like we discussed in the past, the property values are going up with the corporate the corporate side of things, as well as the busway. The busway is drawing more than they thought it would drive. And not that I'm a proponent of it, but it's nice to see it work. I know the people where I work use the busway quite a bit. For that $3 round trip ticket, you see a lot of people coming into Hartford for the evenings, where maybe before they didn't. Yeah. Now, once they get hockey season here, basketball season, I know a lot of the students at some of them from the university are using that to go in, so they can have a few drinks, they can go to a restaurant, they can go to a hockey or a basketball game, and then come back, and they're back by 12:30. I think the last bus is 12:45, comes out of Hartford. So that's great. You're not out too late. The $3 round trip ticket is a bargain for a lot of people. For me, if it was in my town, I would use it.
Oh yeah, think about it. I mean, you could get into Hartford to watch you got your ticket to the NHL, $3.
Right.
And you're at the door and in there.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna spend 3 times on a beer on what you are just to get the game and get home. And no parking. That's gonna be great.
Hey, you spend $7 to $10 on parking, even more some places, right? I can use that for a nice Irish whiskey. You can go over to Vaughn's, have a nice Irish whiskey, you're good to go. Yeah. Then you saved your money. See that? And you don't have to drive home. You got the bus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So we're probably about a minute or so left in this show. Once again, give us a shout, jewhaler13@gmail.com. I'm phindle19@gmail.com. Hey, contact us if you disagree with us. We'll tell you, where we think you're right and where you think you're wrong. Maybe we'll talk about some of the stuff here on one of our shows. So
hit us up on social media too, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. I mean, really, this is about us. It's not about us up here. It's about all of us. Yeah. One nation under green, as we always say. We're all in this together, and without you guys, this isn't going to work. But we have that. We have some restaurant things coming up. We're talking to the Zambonis, the hockey band, about doing we're going to be doing a podcast and an episode down in their Fairfield studios. Yeah. So stay tuned, and we will be rocking out with the Zambonis. Cool. Big Whaler fans, Connecticut residents, they're excited to join the brigade. Yeah. So we will catch you next time on the Whaler Guys. and you are the brigade. One nation under green. Have a great night, and thank you again.